Thank you all for coming tonight. I'm Gerry Pollet with Heart of America Northwest. It is vital that your voices be heard tonight. And I encourage people to stay, to comment, and to insist that we have another hearing in Portland, as well as others around Northwest. Our energy future, as well as Hanford's future, simply too important to be relegated to 2 hearings where the Energy Department tries to create a record favorable for doubling the nuclear power production in the United States and creating more waste to be dumped at Hanford. There are citizen guides available. If you haven't gotten one, please get one. And there's also a sign-up list being circulated to be on our mailing list. Just right back there. Don't be fooled. This proposal is based on doubling nuclear power in the United States by reprocessing the spent fuel, not recycling. Recycling is what you do with your paper and your glass and your yard waste. It is not what you do with nuclear waste. The Energy Department has played this game before. It renamed highly radioactive plutonium waste from remote handled transuranic waste, which it tried to ship to Hanford, to greater than Class C waste, which in this proposal, a vast increase would be created and shipped to be buried at Hanford. Now they've taken the word reprocessing out of the dictionary. That's what created the liquid high-level nuclear waste sitting in leaky tanks at Hanford. We have 53 million gallons of the deadliest material ever created on the planet for reprocessing. That's taking the fuel rods and putting them in acid, extracting the tiny amounts of plutonium and uranium, and the rest is liquid high-level nuclear waste. This EIS fails to address how much of that liquid high-level nuclear waste would occur, and it says we have, quote, options, unquote, for solidifying that waste before burial. Those options don't yet exist. We're 8 years behind schedule and $8 billion over cost for the solidification or classification plant at Hanford for that waste. Then the Energy Department gives a presentation tonight, which it ought to be ashamed of. It doesn't mention that this proposal will result in 800 fatal cancers from trucking the waste. Much of that will be through Portland and up I-84 on the east side. 800 fatal cancers in adults. They don't even count the children. They don't count women. It's based on adult males. And it doesn't count the fact that the trucks may leave the interstate highway and go within 20 to 40 meters of your schools, your community centers, your libraries. And those trucks are going to be causing radiation deaths because the wastes are so hot that the canisters cannot contain the radiation and still be light enough to travel. 816 fatal cancers is their estimate. 5 to 11 times more low-level and highly radioactive wastes to be buried is their estimate. Did you see that in the slideshow tonight?
No!
Shame on you. What kind of presentation are you giving where you stand up and say, here's our environmental impact statement, and you don't even mention that the summary itself says up front that every one of these proposals to double nuclear power in the United States reprocess will result in greater environmental and health impacts than even your existing nuclear power program. What kind of misinformation campaign are you running? What kind of misinformation says you have a slide that says there are no latent cancer fatalities from these proposals? And then you look at page 57, thank you. Look at page 57 in here. And you see LCFs, that's latent cancer fatalities, 820 from trucking the wastes. But That's an estimate based on, as I said, no children, no accidents, no terrorist attack, and without disclosing how much liquid high-level nuclear waste is produced, where it's produced, and where it's buried. And don't be fooled. You folks have an obligation to disclose that you claim that you already chose Hanford to be the national mixed radioactive hazardous waste dump. If you've already chosen Hanford in the EIS that Dirk Dunning from the state of Oregon mentioned, the Waste Management Programmatic EIS, then you need to disclose that up front. Throw this document out, come back out under the new administration with a new proposal, one that compares the costs of building nuclear power to an alternative energy future based on conservation and solar and wind and renewables, and one that is honest and says, you know what? We can do an energy future in the United States that doesn't have additional cancer fatalities. We can have an energy future in the United States that doesn't increase the waste to be dumped at Hanford when you are proposing to delay cleaning up Hanford by 20 years. Thank you very much.